everybody, my Tom. Today we're Hello everybody, my Stream. Today we're going to talk about how does your immune system actually works. So let's go. Have you ever thought what is it, or have you ever thought how it works or what it is? Well, actually, let's talk about it. It was like tons of. It was like two large organs and a long network that spreads through the entire body. And every day it makes tons of immune cells with soldiers, captains, office workers, heavy weapons, and crazy suicide bombers. And it's not some kind of strategy. Your immune system has been finding itself to help these cells to keep out all the microbes that want to consist you as a perfect prey. Let's see what could happen to see if you get infected between life and death. So let's go. It is a beautiful day when suddenly an asteroid hits the ground. Countless aliens in form ready to destroy cities and do what they want, or maybe that's what your body, or maybe that's what your body, or maybe that's what your cells experience. You look at a film that you just cut in a park. How annoying! Well, inside that room, a terrible catastrophe has happened. Tons of red blood cells and dirt fell everywhere in the skin, with a big hole in the skin. Even worse, countless alien life forms ready to explore a new home and kill down the helpless cells. Even worse, it stole our nutrients and began to poop everywhere. This is when your first immune cells kick in. Your cells begin to solidify a protein which then alerts your immune system. The first immune cell to enter are the macrophages. If an average cell is the size of a human, then a macrophage will be the size of a black rhino. Just like how you ignored it. Well, to bacteria, they ignore the macrophage. It stretches the arms like the paws and grabs them whole by eating it by swallow them completely and digest them completely. A huge macrophage can only eat around one-half the bacteria before it stops attacking. This is when your second immune system kicks in. Neutrophils catch up their signals and move up to the battlefield. They will swallow them, but they won't digest them. Instead, they just stay inside the body. They had only a few last moments before they had to leave out their life. But in some of them, they explode, which has a deadly chemical that came from the DNA, which then traps and kills down bacteria. But at the battlefield, though, they did not do that. Instead, they blow out a deadly chemical, which is also made from their own DNA. But after they killed them, they were so careless of their attack that they even killed down cells. So what are they doing? So let's continue. If your body has worked, then the first line of defenses must be and as this continues, the bloodstream is beginning to pop out some holes, which then causes it to spread out nutrients, which is why the infection is like redness and warm as it blows up. But even though it gets out, which then spreads out the nutrients inside the blood for bacteria. But this is not the kind of nutrients that they shouldn't get, but they had to get it. The complex system. The complex protein is a special kind of killer which begin to blow holes right through their skin. We have made an episode about it. So if your first line of defense works, then your first immune system attacks has been worked, or there are too much and your immune system cannot fight them all. You will have to stay in bed or in hospital more than ever than you had to go out, since it's a deadly killer, and if you're not treated properly, then you may die. That is when they had know what to prepare. This is when your second killer kicks in, the dendritic cells. Dendritic cells Dendritic cells are the mighty cells. These cells will eventually catch into their own enemies. As they devour their enemy completely, they swallow it whole. And as they do that, they begin to kill down the cells, kill down the bacteria they swallow. And as it kills itself, it explodes, which then causes tiny particles to catch it. Like a soldier decorating cell, it gets to the lymph node. It gets to the lymph system, which is an extremely long way that spreads from your legs up to the brain, and even your arms, which is an extremely long way. Right here, it's finding a tiny little officer worker, but it's an extremely deadly one. T cells. T cells are activators, which has a job to activate B cells and macrophages, which is already at the battlefield. But not all of them are activated. Only one can be activated, and your cell is looking for that same one. By touching and pushing all the T cells as it goes, the other ones just stop and think it's ugly, so it didn't want. But after a few hours, something amazing. The T cell recognize the bacteria part. The dendritic cell is joyful and activates the T cell. How could a T cell and a bacteria could work, but how could it activate? Well, different bacteria and viruses had different kinds of T cells to activate and kill them what it should do. Against the Black Death, the coronavirus, and a new infection that will soon emerge for the next 1,000 years on Mars. We will soon tell everything about this later because it's very complex. But as you already know that there was tons of viruses around the world, each one has a portrait. Now, it was ready for the new T cell has been like a teenager ready for school day. But it didn't take fast for it to turn into a perfect cell, which then it know what to do. After its origin, it has know what to do. It begins to multiply and multiply, from 1 to 2, and 2 to 4, and 4 from 8, and so on. After it turns into more than 1,000, it begins to split into 2 groups. The first group meets to the battlefield. At the battlefield, the macrophages are tiring up and just want to go to sleep, like a soldier was tired after a hard day. But this is when the perfect T cells amass. One of them go near the macrophage and senses a measure, which it will call a signal. As this happens, the macrophage, the soldiers feel fresh up again. But then something other happens. Of hot, white anger. It knows what to do. Fight! And like an angry soldier or fierce one, its breath as killing anything more better than it has done before. And for the second group, it was looking for another killer. B cells. B cells are tiny machines which invent antibodies, which is like 2 cracked ones grabbing and grabbing down creatures. And like T cells, B cells has a lot of kinds. And each one is been perfect to kill down any kind of macrophage, any kind of bacteria that it shoots. And as the T cell looks and finds it, it activates the B cell, which then clones itself. Soon it begins to clone into tons and tons. At this moment, tons of your B cells begin to activate and turning into tons and tons, spreading and multiplying all the time, which is like tons of cells. But and after that, it enters the battlefield, begins to pump out tons of antibodies in every second. The antibodies begin to pinch up along the bacteria, which then stuns them up and causes them to stop to attack. This is when your immune system advances attacks. Right now, your immune system has been fight and on the way. And one day you may wake up and see only a red mark. That is the sign that your body has stopped attacking and they were complete. This is when macrophages and neutrophils kill themselves after a hard time. But not all of them. T cells and B cells decide to turn into memory cells. T cells turn into memory cells and remember for the first time to kill down the second intruder and will now know it forever. B cells turn into memory B cells, which will immune your body for all of your life, maybe even for the rest of your life. And one day that happens, and as they fight, it goes for life and death. So goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.